This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you for your support.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Connect Now. We are really excited. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. Last episode, we were on location.
Yes, we were at a beautiful home in San Dimas. They were celebrating their annual Havana Nights.
Yes, we were at the Havana Nights, and it's amazing because they were honoring two individuals and just the networking and all the just the
venue was just breathtaking.
Yes, Monica almost gave the address out. Sorry, Daryl and Hannah, she will not give the address out.
Oh my gosh, of course not.
No, but make sure you guys are tuning into the other episodes. All the episodes you can find on Facebook, YouTube, and check it out. You know, you'll begin to see everything else that we're doing, and we're going to be on location again, so you do not want to miss out on that.
Yes, so make sure you guys tune in to Facebook or YouTube to watch the latest episode. But hey, this episode will not be possible without our sponsors.
Yes, with our sponsors.
Yes, so thank you so much to our friends from Massage Envy. 2 locations, 1 location here in West Covina and 1 in Diamond Bar. And of course, you know, my girls, I always say, you know, they do a great job. Med Spa Deluxe LA, thank you so much. With also 2 locations, West Covina and Rancho. And of course, our friends from Suburban Waters doing great things in the community. Thank you so much, you guys, for all of your support. And of course, our friends, I always say our friends to all
They're
of
all of our
they're
friends.
All our friends,
They're all
of
of our
course.
friends.
Yes, with our friends from Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a
Division of
Certified Federal. Thank you so
Yes.
much, guys. Also have 2 locations. They have a location here in West Covina and their main branch in Diamond Bar.
Yeah, everybody has 2 locations.
Yes, they do.
Man, and also we have Munoz & Munoz Attorneys at Law located in the city of Azusa. We also got the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce. So make sure you guys look them up. They have a lot of things happening, and they even have a golf tournament coming up. And last but not least, we have Grocery Outlet located right here in the city of West Covina. So that is it.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Munoz & Munoz.
Come check it out. Here at Munoz & Munoz, every case is important to us. Big or small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our #1 priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our #1 priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos español.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show with Let's Connect Now. My name is Danielle Wood. I'm with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. You guys want to contact us regarding any banking needs or even auto loans and personal loans, feel free to contact me at any time. You can reach me at 909-396-9688 or 909-504-7371. I'm looking forward to talking and speaking with you all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
So we definitely want to welcome back, a previous guest that we had. We really enjoyed having him. I mean, someone who we just admire and we just think the world of him. Can we get an applause for that, please?
I promote him everywhere. I promote him everywhere I go. I'm off from juvenile hall to city hall. That's the slogan from now on. But we had him, and now he brought his significant other.
Yes.
We're like, dude, we got to bring both of you back because I mean, there has to be a significant other to put up with, like, myself, and then I know there's Ivan, so I was like, oh my God, there has to be a significant other to put.
They're definitely a power couple. So welcome back, Mayor Ivan Altamirano and Susie Altamirano.
Yes, love to have you guys. And you know what? We missed the cue, Ivan. I know you were walking in. They forgot the music and the fog machine.
everything.
I thought the music was going to start at the entrance of the mall, but I was like, hey, where's the intro? I was like, whoa, I kept getting texts, where you at? I thought, you were setting it all up, red carpet and everything, but I was like, what happened here?
He forgets a lot of things. So
I know. I love it because we could come in here, we could joke around, we have a good time. Because even though we like to humanize people, because some people, they see city officials, they hear a lawyer, mayor, a senator, and they feel they have to be so uptight and always stern and on point, and yes, but yet there is the human side of everybody, So we want to talk a little bit about, because we did make mention last time about your wonderful wife. So we want to, if you want to properly introduce her.
Absolutely. Well, how would you define proper? I mean, what do you want to know? Listen, I met her like about 11 years ago, a little over 11 years ago. I did tell her that, my name's Ivan, but I think I should change it to Moses, because I was lost for 40 years until I found her. But I was at an event, it's called Naleo, and it was out in Coronado. And I walked into this room where they were hosting elected officials. And she opened the door, and when she opened the door, I just instantly something happened. Like I was like, whoa, who's this? So I kind of stuck around with some of my colleagues, other elected officials, and some other people that were there, and I was like, wow, I really need to keep talking to her, and
that's so cute.
And then she had given me her business card, and her business card had an address and a phone number from Sacramento. So I said, oh my God, I'm gonna be not creating issues, but trying to resolve issues in Sacramento. So I won't be going to Sacramento very often, right? Little did I know that she lived in Orange County. So
okay.
I think she's a remarkable woman. I look at myself and I say, I didn't graduate from high school. I ended up getting a GED, got my AS degree later in life. I didn't get to go to universities and things of that nature. But I've always, looked at others and said, wow, I wish I had that life, going to universities. But where would I be today? And I'm glad that my life is where it is today. My wife went to a university. She went to colleges, and she just has such a remarkable education and also a remarkable life. And I got to meet her father and her family, and just of who her father was just such a remarkable, powerful man, and I understand where she gets that from. It's pretty powerful to be around him. Just to be around him, within 2 minutes, your life changes. We would catch an Uber, and the Uber people would want to quit their job and start their own business.
At the end of the ride.
I would just trip out.
But that's amazing, because most father-in-law and son-in-laws bump heads. They don't really click a lot.
Yeah, no, this one was a connection that really just sparked, and it was kind of the same connection that I had with my wife, when I first met her. And within 6 months of meeting her, I proposed to her, and within, I believe, a year, I got married out in Cuba.
Ooh.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, she took me to Newport Beach and on one of those big yachts or boats, and
you have the wedding all in one boat. You have the captain who acts as the officiant, the wedding cake, the food, and you do a 4-hour cruise around.
Oh wow!
And it's all in one, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't this beautiful? We can have the ceremony here, and it's all taken care of, all in one-stop shop. And I could tell he was disconnected. He was looking out in the water, and he goes, I don't know. I go, okay, if this is what you're feeling, let's talk about it. And what did you say?
I just
Sounds
said
better coming from you.
I was like, well, look, how many couples that have gotten married can tell a story? I got married on a boat in Newport Beach, or I got married in Hawaii, or I got married at a destination place like in Cancun or Mexico. A lot of people, but I just thought to myself, I said, this is such a remarkable, powerful woman. Like, how many people can tell a story, saying, I got married in Cuba.
No, I have never heard that.
And I just thought that she's a one of
me
a
up.
kind and unique. So I said that let's get married in Cuba, and we went to Cuba. We got married there. I have family out there, but they didn't attend the wedding. It was just us, and we had a little trio there that she brought over, and we have the whole recording. Is a beautiful thing that we did there. And then we have one of the pastors that was there caught a taxi, I think, to us with his wife and one of his sons. I think he was like 3 or 4 years old.
He's 3 years old.
He was the one recording the whole.
How cute.
wedding.
He was our videographer.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
He was your
my
video.
God.
Yeah.
3-year-old.
It was
Oh my
awesome.
God.
Yeah, we got married at a hotel called Hotel Nacional, which is a very powerful, well-known hotel in Cuba. That's where the Italian mafia used to go, and they have shootouts there. They have cannons there. That's when Russia was there too, pointing the cannons are pointing towards the ocean, and they were, back in the days they would bomb in the ships. I think in the late 1800s they would fight with the United States, and
Wow.
they had trenches with the Russian military that they built there, putting all their nukes there. Every powerful president from all over the world would go. Fidel Castro would put them there at that hotel. So I just thought it was just something powerful, and it reflected on her. And I just said, no, this is what we're going to do, and get married here
On us.
on us. And then we came back, and then we got married in Orange County at a place called what's that place called?
So ceremonial was in Cuba, and it was nice because we were both nervous, but it was just he and I and the trio, and then our 3-year-old videographer, the pastor, and his wife, right? But it was beautiful in that moment just to take it in and appreciate it for the journey it took to get there, and it was just he and I. And then we flew back home and had a reception. We had the ceremony with family too, in the city I grew up in. I was born in Montebello, Beverly Hospital, and then raised in Orange County. And so a little city called Villa Park, which is a very ironic that we're from Commerce, another little city. Everybody knows each other. Similarly, in Villa Park, they do too. And so went back to that city I grew up in. There's only one shopping center there, one cafe. It's Rockwell's Bakery, which coincidentally, 6 months prior to us, after we got engaged in wedding planning, we're at the Citadel, and there's a cake from Rockwell's Bakery there in Villa Park. And I said, how did Villa Park get to Commerce? Oh, wait, that's part 2. Right? And so we find out that there's a connection between the owner of Rockwell's Bakery and the owner of the Citadel. And I said, I think this is a sign. So long story short, we end up having our reception back at Rockwell's Cafe in Villa Park. And our family was there, and it was intimate, roughly 100 people. We both have large families, but it was so special, and it was significant that we got to share this with his children. I call them my heart children. They're born from my heart, not from my body. And bonus mom, right?
Nice. Nice. I
And
like that.
my nephew and nieces that I help raise, and then their children. And so my mom had passed away within that last year. My dad was there, and mentors were there. So here we're bringing together this blended family of sorts, to start this new chapter together. So it was sweet. It was a beautiful moment.
It was. I had just been separated out of a 23-year relationship, like 6 months, and I had just got 80% custody of my kids, and I was like, wow, like finally relieved. And then that's when I met her, and when my son met her, he was 10 years old. I dated here and there, and he would start fights with some of the girls I was dating on purpose to get rid of them. I was like, what are you?
I know what that's like.
Yeah, okay, right? I mean, I was like, what is he doing? But Susie, he just said, I think we should keep her. And I was like, why?
We should keep her.
Why? And he said, because when she speaks, I don't even understand what she's saying because her language is so extensive. Her vocabulary. And she's like Google. She knows everything.
Not everything, but that was
That's
that
so
was sweet.
beautiful.
But I love that,
Wow.
just being able to bring that together and stuff. And I love the fact because, so your family, how was your bringing up? Because if your dad was that powerful to make an impact in his life, make an impact in yours.
So grew up in East LA. My mom went to Garfield. My dad attended Roosevelt. But they didn't know each other when they were in high school. They met after high school. And my mom was involved in leadership and the car club and the coil Letz, kind of like the Grease Lightning, right? But she was
don't say
the
that.
coil
She
and
did
the
her
coil
Grease
Letz.
Lightning. Oh my God.
Yes. And president of this and that. So the leadership and always very poised and beautiful, graceful, amazing woman, amazing mother, grandmother too, and great grandmother. And then her and my dad met, and he was kind of the little bit of the bad boy, I think, and but a visionary. Sound familiar? And so he and my mom opened up a hair salon in El Monte. And then they opened up their second hair salon in Orange County. And so I have two older sisters. They bought a house in Pico Rivera, and then we moved to Orange County. They ended up buying a house in the city of Orange. So that's where I grew up. And my dad and mom were always about like being involved in leadership and how you present yourself and goals and who do you surround yourself with.
That's right.
And so how do you walk into a room? Do you have eye contact with somebody? Do you shake somebody's hand? And how do you do these things? And how do you present yourself? Getting an education and, the people that you're around, are they goal orientated or not? And
Yes.
so will be you, right? Your
Right. trajectory.
So fast forward when I had, I was married before. And my late husband had passed away. He had a heart issue. And I was 37 at the time. And so it was unexpected. And I was a widow for about 4 years and had done the online dating. And when I was ready, when that time comes. Some of them had Christian platforms, and I'm like, hey, these guys are awfully posy. I think
ChristianMingle.com.
Yeah, I'm like, you need more Jesus in your life.
Jesus.
So I really had gotten to a point where I was like, Lord, I miss being in a relationship. I miss being in marriage. I miss being in partnership. And I had, I had kept a journal. I still have that journal. And I wrote in there, just really crying my heart out. Those burning tears at night into your pillow that no one else sees, that you're just raw and you just let it, you put it before the throne and just like, this is yours. If this is the life you have for me, so be it. But give me that heart. Let me deal with that. Give me the ability. Excuse me. But if not, let me tell you my wish list, Lord. And so, and of course, fear was a part of that. Fear of, gosh, if I get married again, will something happen to him? The risk of love.
Right.
And so, and it's still very real. And truth be told, it's something I still reconcile with God to. Oh, thank you. To lay that to him, that tomorrow's not promised to anybody and we have today and it's a gift. But those types of life experience prepared me to be the woman and the person I am today, or when I met Ivan. And so right before I had met him, I just said, Lord, you know what? If you want me to be single, give me that desire. But do you have somebody for me? I got a little wish list for you. So I want a goal-orientated man. I want a man of vision. I want a man with a good credit score. I want, a family and orientated man. A man I could have conversations with. I would go to town and then let me get physical, right? I want a handsome man. I want a man that I find attractive and he finds me attractive, right? And so on and so forth went the list. And, shortly thereafter, I meet Ivan. And at that point, I had owned my own company as a political consultant. I was used to now being on my own and being the independent woman. And also being the one who was somehow readily available for any family crisis, right? Because it's like, well, you're not married. Surely you're available, right? And it's like, okay, hello, I have life too, right?
Yeah.
And so it was defining those boundaries too, right? And so I go to this event, the company I'm consulting with at the time, and we're hosting a dessert and wine, a little reception, and in saunters, because Ivan did saunter in the door, Mr. Ivan Altamirano, right? And I was like, no, who is this, right? And he says, well, hello. And he introduced himself, and we start talking, and it was nice. It was a natural conversation.
Right.
It felt well. It felt safe. And then he got pulled in another direction, and then we ended up talking again. And he asked, meet him downstairs for a drink. You want me to tell this story? And
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Like, yes,
Tag
please.
team.
And
Tag
so-
team.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I need to wrap up this event. The company I'm with, we're hosting it, and I'll meet you downstairs. And so it's about 15, 20 minutes until I get downstairs. In the meantime,
Well, before you say that, let me say this. So the event's ending, and we're now going to go downstairs. So I did invite her to. Now I was nervous. I was nervous, and I never had a ring on my finger, but I looked at her hand, and she had a ring on her finger, but it was on the opposite side. And I was like trying to figure out. I was so nervous. I was like, man, is she married or not? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Which is the ring finger? Which
Yeah,
side?
I was trying to figure it out. And so I invited her downstairs to have a drink. I said, can you meet me downstairs? Let's have a drink. And she said, yes. So she walked me to the door and stopped. And I walked out, and I wondered, like, why is she stopping? And then she said, I'm going to clean up here. I'll meet you downstairs. That's what ended up happening. So I went downstairs. I waited for 20 minutes, and I was like totally nervous.
Yeah, because you're like, wait, what the heck's going on?
I was totally nervous. Do you want me to finish this, or you're?
no, go ahead.
So I was nervous. And,
I was there.
And I
know
just
how the
said,
story
I said
is.
to myself, you know what? Man, I got to get out of here. Like, I was like nervous. So I convinced my colleagues, let's just leave to our hotel. We can have some drinks there and eat. So we left. And I.
You didn't
Okay.
wait for her?
I waited 20 minutes. I figured either she's never going to come down, or second, I was too nervous. I was like just nervous. I just met a powerful woman, and I was like, whoa, like, okay, what's going on? I felt like just nervous. I left. I did leave. So go ahead.
So I head downstairs with a girlfriend of mine, and we grab a drink and sitting there waiting. And then I asked my friend who knew Ivan. I go, do you have his number by chance? I think this is the location. I don't think there's any other place that's open right now. He goes, yeah, let me text him. And here, take his number. And so I said, are you still here? We're downstairs. And we wait and wait and wait, and no response.
Oh, no.
And so we got a second drink, and I said, well, let me text him again. Nice meeting you. Have a nice life.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, bro, I decided to have a nice life.
You did it. He showed up.
Oh, my God.
But it was odd because she was texting me, but I wasn't receiving any of the text messages. I had just bought a Apple computer, and I transferred my iCloud stuff, so every message was going to my computer instead of my phone.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't see that message until I got home. It said, "Have a nice life." Whoa! So, I know. I took a snap photo of it. I have it somewhere.
That's cool. I love the fact.
Wait, so how did you reconnect again?
So
I
the
mean-
next morning, I was going to head back home, and I had actual plumbing issue at the house I was living in Orange County. And my friend who knew Ivan is like, no, just come with us to brunch, real quick. I'm like, absolutely not. The guy didn't text me back.
Yeah.
I'm not, no. And so he kept on, just come for a little bit and then leave right after lunch. Fine. Warm me down, I'll go. And I'll wear the only dress that I have in my luggage, And so we go and pick him up, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and he comes out in a 3-piece suit. Black suit with a white shirt, and I'm like, who is, and just the confidence level coming to the car. I'm like, who is this? And he sits in the back seat with me, and so we head to the breakfast, and there's probably about a good 15 of us who are having brunch at a hotel, and we're sitting there enjoying our meal, and Ivan gets a call. And we're thinking he's going to get up from the table and leave. And he goes, it's my daughter. Excuse me for a moment. And he takes the call at the table. And you could tell it's a serious call. And he says, okay, good. I love you too. All right, I'll see you soon. And he hangs up, and it's just quiet. I mean, you could drop a pin and hear it at the table. We're all trying to pretend like nobody paid attention and could hear anything. And then he looked up and he goes, you know, women are very powerful. You know, and then he went into his theory, his belief about women, and I'll let you share that.
I just so my daughter she moved out back with her mom because she didn't like my rules of you have to come home at this time and things of that nature. But then she realized it's not working out over there. She wanted to come back, so I let her come back. But for me, you know, there's a lot of powerful men in my life too. You know, my dad and other mentors and things of that nature. But the ones that made the most difference in my life, that have propelled me forward, like from nothing to something, are the women in my life. So, you know, my aunts, you know, my tias, my mom, my sister, my cousins, my friends, even like in leadership, the women that are in leaders, when they speak, you know, I listen. They're just powerful, right? And so what I realized is that women are a lot more powerful than men.
No, it's true.
They just have this power about them. So what the way I explain it is if you take a look like a pot of soil, the soil is the woman, right? And it can either be dirt or soil. And I just recently heard the difference between dirt and soil. So dirt it has no nutrients. It's not alive, right? And soil is full of nutrients and it's alive. So the male is a tree, and depending how like the nurturing and the nutrients and the power that this soil has is how big this tree is going to grow. And it's going to bear fruit. But imagine it grows in dirt with no nutrients. What the tree's going to grow? Slump over. It's not going to. You're going to have an orange, but it's really like nothing, right?
Yeah.
No juice in it. And so when this soil is like that powerful, and the tree grows, the male grows. The male has a responsibility, and just like the nature, the tree will then start to drop its fruit to refertilize the soil. So it's teamwork. You know, it's the male has a responsibility to refertilize the soil to make that soil a lot more powerful, and in turn that women or the soil would just continue to help that tree grow, to help the male grow. And,
wow.
And that there is I realized that. And I had a lot of women that have been my mentors, and one of them passed away. Her name is Margot. She passed away a few years ago, I think. But I remember, you know, losing everything. And I said, Margot, I'm done. Like, I'm losing everything. And she said, I believe in you. You can do it. The next day, I made $10,000. I'm like, wow, Margot, it worked. And she's like, I didn't do anything. I just believe in you. So it's that much. You know, women have... what I want to say is, like, for young ladies and even women, like, to empower young men, it's even if you smile at them and acknowledge, if they say hi, do you say hi back? I mean, because then it gives them this like, wow, like they noticed me. But when young men don't get a response, then they start to get what's the word I'm working for? Like their confidence level, insecurities and things of that nature. So early on, women have a lot of responsibilities in life. They really do. If you look at them, they and study them, they have a lot more responsibilities than men. And I just think that God just created something beautiful to really nurture the world, and we need to really look at our women and take care of them.
Yeah,
take care of them.
No, I love that. Wow, that is the most powerful illustration I've heard in a long time.
I know.
No wonder you're in love with this man.
I heard that story, and I said, I'm intrigued. I need to know more. And fast forward, here we are, happily ever after. My dad would say growing up, you're going to marry your mother or your father. And I know I married somebody very much like my father. And when my mom was passing away, Ivan was there. He was a human pillow. And we were in the ER room, and my dad is, surrounded with women, and this first time he's meeting Ivan. And he looked up at him 4 hours after us being in the ER, and he goes, you I've heard about you. Come over here. Sit next to me.
And they left me.
No, I said good luck. And then that was the first time he and my dad connected, and I could see instantaneously Ivan respected my father, and my father respected him, but he also needed somebody like him in that moment where maybe my dad couldn't be that way with his daughters or my aunt being there, but he could with somebody he didn't know well, in a moment of vulnerability after close to 60 years of being married, that this is where we're at, you know. And so it was a strange transition, right? Because here I was, a widow. I'm incredibly close with my mom. I'm determined. My mom had an agreement with God, amongst other things, that I don't want to leave this planet unless I know she's okay, like a good mother, a parent would, right? And I'm sure there was other things in that ask. And here I had met Ivan, and we're still within weeks of just getting to know each other, and I'm losing my mom, you know, and it was just one of those transformative moments of life. And in that, it brought us closer. And I was still very guarded. I was still, even after the funeral and the passing and things, you know, we were both 40 in that moment, and it's in the second phase of life. I'm not a very spontaneous person. I'm trying to be as well researched and planned out and analytical about things. He's not, but that's why I appreciate and love him so much, because of that. And he, me, right? We complement. It's a yin and yang of sorts. And two, it was a moment of, I know what I want. You know what you want in life. We don't need this elongated engagement period. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So if you were to tell me within 6 months of meeting him, I was going to get engaged, like, no, that's just not me. But it happened, you know, in Christmas of 2014 at my dad's house with family there, and his daughter and son there. And it was beautiful. It was, magical. And 6 months later, we're in Cuba getting married. And then within days, we're back home and celebrating this new chapter, right, with our families. And so ever since then, it has not been a dull moment with Ivan. Every year, there's always something new. And I love and appreciate him so much because he has this vigor and zest for life. And I do too. You know, when I wake up in the morning, it's that deep, you feel your air in your lungs, and you're like, wow, I have the ability to get up out of bed, and I'm still here on planet Earth. What do I get to do today, Lord? And yes, there's all these distractions and responsibilities and demands, right? But it's not alone, and it's who's in your corner. And Ivan's been a huge part of that. So, well, I'm like, he'd gone to undergraduate school and law school and attempted to take the bar, didn't pass the first time, and put it up on the shelf. Life happened, right? Then, okay, let me start my own business, and why don't you take it again? I was like, we just got married. Do you realize you're not going to see me for 3 months? I'm going to be in a library, hunkered down 10 to 12, 16 hours a day studying. And he encouraged me. He said, go for it, do it. And I did, and I passed. And, it's incredible to think that, here you have the world telling you certain things like, oh, well, maybe you should not do that anymore. Right. Maybe you should go this way. And I did for a season and period, and God has yes, no, or not now.
Right.
Wait.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Patience is not something, is my greatest suit. I'm still learning. But here I am, and I passed the bar. I reached out to a common friend of ours. Ivan knows him better than I do, Rick Olivares. And I said, Rick, I passed the bar recently. I want to leverage my political experience into this field industry. I think municipal law might make sense. Mm-hmm. Do you know anyone who's hiring? And he said, yes, we are. Oh, Olivares Madruga is hiring. And, you know, still with intrepidation and like, Ivan, I got to wait. I'm supposed to do this. And he goes, just go, just do it. Just build your wings on the way down. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, fine, I'll do this, right? And I did it.
I love it.
And because sometimes, and I know I'll get in my head about things, and he's like, no, you can do it. I've seen you do it. And it's sometimes who you have in your corner, right? That confidence, that know-how. That's like, all right, you're right. My legs might be a little wobbly, but I'm gonna make it through. And then next time they won't be so wobbly. I'll have a little bit more assurance and familiarity. And sometimes it's just being brave and doing something new that you haven't before, no matter what age you're at. You know. And one thing my parents have taught us is that if you're not learning, you're not growing, no matter how old you are.
Exactly.
You're never too old to learn something and to improve yourself, right? And so, you know, going back a little bit, my dad got ill, and we took him in. He came to live with us, and he went much sooner than we anticipated. My dad was the bill of health. And his health took a turn, but during that time, it was awesome, the three of us to have that time together. And my dad got to vote for Ivan and his election and these full circle moments, right? And spending time with the littles, you know, the grandkids and the great nephews and nieces at our house, and having barbecues. And that's what life is about, is those memories.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, and so how you celebrate that together, and even cry together, right? And go through things together. That's part of life, you know, but who you surround yourself, who's in your corner, that matters, you know? And so here we are today, and I just thank God, because I'm the city attorney for 2 cities and assistant city attorney for a 3rd city in LA County.
Wow.
Ivan's the mayor of the city that we live in. Like, that's remarkable.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
You know,
Absolutely.
that's not,
That's a power.
yeah,
Man.
but that's God, right? And that's
Right.
the realm of possibility. And when he says, hold my hand, I've got you. Oh, there's this, he brings beauty from ashes, you know, where it's dry bones and it's, no, I don't think there's life back in this. He says, oh, you're cute. Sit down, little one. I've got you, you know, just rest in me. And so, so much gratitude where we're at right now in life, our family. We get calls quite regularly from kids, or, you know, grown kids, and, you know, and help with this and that, and this is what we're going through. But even that's a blessing, to be there for them as ours were for us.
Exactly.
You know, and I reminisce on those times, like, oh gosh, I remember bringing these trials and tribulations to my parents, and now we're going through those, you know, and being there for our kids and our grandkids and my nieces and nephews. So it's a blessing, you know. It's a blessing when we walk out of the door, and we both have city council meetings for different reasons, right?
You go out and go, hey, bye.
Right. And also, he makes me a better attorney. You know, I joke with that, but it's serious too, because I'll confide in him, and we do have, you know, marital confidentiality on that. You know, what do you think about this and that? And he'll have ideas and suggestions. I'm like, wow. That's outside of the box thinking.
Right.
It's very
You have to
creative.
think outside the box, yeah.
You know? And then vice versa, he'll tell me things. I'm like, no, yes, you can do that. Or,
Yeah, she'll say, no, I can't do that, right? And then I'll debate with her, and then I'm debating with the city attorney too. In my city, so I'm debating with both of them. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Oh, so I see what you're doing. I see what
She just
you're
say no.
doing.
Go ahead.
No, because I want to create something, and my thinking is like very different. It's just people just see it as it is, but I see it in other ways, and I don't live in this box that this is what you could do. No, what I said the last time is universal law has been in my favor. So if I'm going to create something, I'm going to create it. That's how things get created.
Yeah.
But if I want to think like everybody else, it's not going to be created. So if I think outside the box and get creative, so a lot of times the attorneys will tell me, no, you can't do it. But I asked them, get creative. And some attorneys are not creative. You know, she's pretty creative. And I'll say, well, this is how we're going to do it, and figure it out. Then they start to see a different path. But I appreciate the attorneys in my life because they're very analytical, and I know they're trying to keep me safe, but at the same time, we get to create. That's how we transform and create change.
Yes, I love it.
And I'm not going to be a normal person just sitting back and operating with the rules you give me. I'm going to create rules that don't exist right now.
Ooh, I like
So,
that.
Ivan, do you consult certain things and then take it back? I mean, because she is a city attorney, so is there some stuff that
She's
sometimes
helped
you
me
pick
a
up,
lot
right?
with my city to propel my city forward.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's awesome.
I've asked her things, and she's pretty creative, and I take it back to the city, and we've transformed it. So she's been a huge change in my city, and there's a lot of residents too that are young and look for mentors. And they reach out to her. I mean, this is what powerful. And I just recently, like 2 weeks ago, one of the young ladies, I think she's like maybe in her mid-20s, and she's going to university, and I think she wants to be an attorney. And I was walking in the neighborhood, and she asked me, "Can I have your wife's phone number? I'd like to talk to her." And she's just a book of knowledge. I mean, she's like not really telling you everything. Like, she's like interned at the White House. She's worked with the Indian tribes out there. One of her mentors dealt with like the White House stuff directly with the tribes. She's learned all that. She's worked for the governor's office. She's worked for the attorney general. I think attorney general, DA, district attorney in Orange County. Yeah. She's done so much. I mean, when I met her and I ran for state assembly, she was helping people raise money. And in 3 months, we raised $300,000. Wow. And so she's good at what she does, no matter where you put her. She's a very powerful.
Man, you guys are a powerful couple. Wow.
I know. So how do you both balance? I mean, you guys both sounds like you have a beautiful life. I'm sure, you're a woman of faith. I could see it. I could see your heart, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
When you both talk about each other, it's like there's so much love. I mean, I feel like calling my husband right now and saying, it's beautiful to see. You're a great example to so many people that that live in turmoils, and there's no need for that. When you find the right person and you find, you respect each other in your space, and you're both, have so much to offer. But what boundaries do you set for the people outside that can interrupt what you guys currently have in your home?
I don't think we really let the outside affect us, right? I mean, because we rarely get into arguments, and when we do, she beats me, right?
But arguments are healthy, though. You have to know that.
We don't argue much. That's what's powerful about our relationship.
When we do, we don't come from a place of I'm gonna hurt you.
Right.
It's I'm gonna be transparent with you. This is where I'm coming from maybe a woman's perspective. This is what I'm feeling right now. When I hear this is what it means to me, and vice versa, right? There's a great book out there. I think it's, I thought it's Gary Chapman, but it's called Love and Respect. It talks about what women want to feel loved, and men want to feel respected, and they want to feel loved too. But if they feel disrespected, that will just knock them down. That will dissolve him. And if women don't feel loved, it's equally as devastating, right, as it is to a man. That's the word I was looking for. And so, as much as possible, we do have, disagreements, but we come very mindful of a place of like, I'm not out, my words aren't here to hurt you. This is what I'm hearing. This is what you said. This is what I heard. This is in the context of it. And I'm very mindful of him feeling respected or disrespected. And sometimes I get to remind him, like, I don't feel loved when I hear this from you. And so I think that comes from a place of I'm not here to win, because marriages are 100-100. There's no 50-50.
Thank you.
And if we're going to win, it's together, right? And I'm responsible for you and you're responsible for me. So there's this amazing dynamic that we're intertwined together, right? But I'm mindful, and I encourage other, when I see other spouses or significant others have elected, I said, just, unsolicited advice, your home is your sanctuary.
Yes.
When you come home, leave whatever else is at the door, unless you need to decompress and talk about it. But try not to let that what was said or personal accusations or anything interfere and bleed into your home, because that's your sanctuary, and your peace of mind is essential, is essential to your personal life and your own mental well-being. So being very mindful of that, and also talking things through. It's the little things, going into a room, first person I see for at an event or even coming home, doesn't matter, is Ivan. I see Ivan and I connect with him and I give him a kiss. So we have that physical connection. It's like, you and I are here together. We're one. All right, now break.
Yeah.
You talk with your people and I'll talk with mine, but we're here together. We're anchored,
Yes.
right, in that. And so even last night we went out to dinner with some friends, and it was a round table. And first person I walked in, I said hello to everybody, but I acknowledge my husband and I give him a kiss, just to physically and emotionally connect with him. And then, all right, now I'm grounded, and we can carry on with what we're doing. So I think setting boundaries is important, and doing that, sowing that, reaping that every day, right? Because it's the little things. If you don't water it, if you don't take care of that garden, it's going to dry out. Your soil that was once well nourished is now going to be depleted.
Yeah, and I like the fact you said that, because I get in trouble because I don't do that. I don't connect when I go, because my wife will be like, I'll show up to a place and you get sidetracked because somebody will be like, hey, dude, hey, and you go over there and then you're like, and she told me, she goes, you never like acknowledge me, or you don't come and give me a kiss. Like you said, you connect, boom, and then separate. I kind of get in. My goal is to go, but then you're like, hey, buddy, hey, and you just drift off, and then you're like, well, you're here. We're here together, but yeah, she makes it a point. So you're right. I like that. It's true. Boom, and go do you.
And things like that. Let's just say we have a disagreement on something like that, and if she would come to me and let me know how she's feeling, I mean, I learn too. It's a learning process. I'm not perfect, so sometimes I react versus respond. And she tells me, "This is how I'm feeling because you're doing this," and I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" So then I had to learn.
We'll say it's in your head. I'm like, oh. Wow.
So then I have to
file that one away.
Later, it's for later.
So then I got to look at, okay, what am I doing to cause that? So let me take responsibility. Let me shift that. Let me change that, and acknowledge how she feels. And I get it, and I'm not going to. I'm still growing, and that's, I think, what makes things, I don't want to say perfect, but almost perfect, that we grow together, and we really we're open to taking a look at ourselves, looking in the mirror and saying, okay, I caused this, and what am I going to do different next time? So we grow like that. It's awesome. And when we disagree, then we have arm wrestles, and she'll beat me as left hand because she's a left-hander. So it's like an even. I'm right-handed, but she's left-handed.
I love it. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, but no, that's wonderful that you recognize that. The way that you both speak. I mean, my daughter, she's a mental health specialist, so she does a lot of couple therapies, and so when she comes, she tells me how she talks to people and to some of her clients, and I pick up on some of the verbiage of the things how she approaches certain situations, and I've exercised that with my husband, and it works, and just knowing how to deal with certain situations, but speaking in respect makes a huge difference versus an attack. And I always think I always try to be mindful. I mean, I'm not perfect at it because we both have different lives and different careers, where you guys both kind of are in the same group of what you do, and you as a city attorney, I mean, you kind of have a lot more in common than we do, but it works. It still works. You have to somehow make it work and exercise that respect, and that's so awesome.
When one of my mentors passed away, her name's Margot, and I probably known her a little over 20 years, and then I introduced her to Susie. And, they talk, and she realized, wow, that's a powerful woman. I was like, yeah, I know. And before she passed away, she was probably like on her deathbed for about a year. She had, what do you call that? Like when your body starts to shut down.
It's, I can't think, Lou Gehrig's disease. It's where like a paralysis that starts moving up. Yeah.
And she's wrote some books. Like, she's a powerful woman. and she had us sit next to her bed, and she said, Susie, I'm going to write another book. But I need to find out about your guys' relationship, how powerful it is. How do you guys keep it the way it is?
Yeah.
So she was asking her questions because she said she was going to write a book based on what she was saying.
No, I love it. You know what? I'm going to have to say, I really enjoyed this interview. Yes, we wanted to bring you guys on so that we could talk, a little bit more, about what you do and all this stuff. But I think God knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Your guys' story is amazing and can relate to so many people out there. Like Monica said earlier, it's just like, as you're sharing, I just reflecting on everything I need to do. Not even what my wife needs to do. Like things, how can I better myself? And this is what it's about, is just sharing, because like I said, people put the positions that you're both in on a pedestal, but not realizing still that you have a life. You have a life. And so thank you guys so much for these stories.
Definitely be an example. Yes, I mean, we're both. I mean, I know he's sitting there and he's thinking about some of the things that he needs to work on, and I'm thinking about, wow, this is beautiful. I mean, yes, I still have a lot of work to do as well, and you really have inspired us to
Wow.
to be better, because sometimes we let our work, take the best of us. And once we get home, it's like there's just so much on our plates that we're still carrying it, to even when we go to sleep, it's still in your head, and we have to learn to let it go and just focus on our spouses. And I think you guys have taught us that, and I know my husband.
Yeah, he watches every episode, listens to every episode. Because we had a bunch of questions and this and what you do and this, but you just laid it out. You both laid it out so beautifully and already said what you've done, you do, and who you are. And it's like we just sat here in a story and just watched and unravel, and it was amazing. So thank you guys both, because we have to get going. But thank you guys so much. Any last words though before we?
Well, I like to say this in honor of her dad, Vivi. And now, when I first met him, this is what happened. When he said, I heard about you, he sat down, and this is the first thing he said to me. He said, I'm going to look into your eyes, and I'm going to see how long you can look into my eyes.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
I don't want to hear a word or anything. So he sat down right next to me, in front of me, and just stared at me. And I said, okay. And I just stared at him, and we were there for about 2 or 3 minutes. And he said, no one's ever done this. Everyone is always making a facial expression, or they laugh, or they look away, they feel uncomfortable. But this was such a powerful man. And I just knew, all right, you want to connect? I'm going to connect with you. I have no problem. I've done this before, and I'm just going to connect with you. And that's what he taught his daughters. That's what he taught his grandkids, to be powerful like that. Because when you look at someone, you connect, you start to have internal conversations. And if you have no self-worth or whatever's coming up, then it holds you back in life, right? But if you are confident and you're okay, then the power just emits out of you. And it was a spark between us. And ever since, we were like, man, that was my boy. Like, he didn't care. He didn't care.
No, but it's so true. That's a true statement, because I determine as well when I'm speaking to somebody how they look at me in my eyes, and when I'm talking to them, and if they start looking to the side and this and that, then I go, oh, okay, cool. They don't got it. They don't got it, because you got to look at somebody in their eyes. I'm talking, we're doing this. You just know, like you said, you kind of know their level when they do that. You kind of see where they're at in that authoritative, because it's an authority.
And that's good that you didn't take it as a joke. You took it very serious.
Absolutely.
And you said, no, definitely this is important to me. And so you did that, because if somebody told me, we have a stare down or whatever, I'd be like, no.
It shows their confidence.
Yeah.
So you wanted to see your confidence.
Right? Well, and I saw him respect my father
Right.
in that. And I even had, subtle gestures, but it was of respect. Like, okay, sir. Like, and my dad was just stone faced. And I was like, oh, geez, if he can weather this, if he passes this, it says a lot. And I'm like, wow, he respects my father.
Right.
And, it intrigued me, because I wanted to learn and know more about him, about Ivan. And so I think that's important, right? Because those moments in time, we're two passing ships. You may never see that person again, or they do. You. But what do you leave with each other in that moment?
That's right.
Was there a contribution, or was there a takeaway? And that's life is so, there's a brevity to it. It's not, yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not here. All we have is the present, right? Today. It's a gift.
Yep.
And I know we got to go, but 3 months into me dating, we were dating. What ended up happening was one of my colleagues that I was serving with, another council person, ended up calling the firm that she was working for back then and said,
Not a law firm, a different
not
firm.
the law firm, so the consulting firm, and said, I know you guys want to do some work in commerce as consultants. Well, there's a choice. You talk to Susie and have her leave Ivan, and you'll work in my city.
What?
And so then her colleague calls her and says, hey, you have a choice, or not a choice. He just said, I think he said, hey, just stop dating Ivan. That's it. And so she said, what? I can't believe you're doing this. And she then chose to walk away from that firm. And I remember we were having dinner that day. I showed up and she said, I need to talk to you. And she let me know what was going on. And I said, all right, well, I get it. What are you going to do? And she just said, I'm leaving. I'm walking away from the firm. And I was like, wow.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's powerful.
One of the
So-
best decisions I ever made.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, watch the people you surround yourself with, too.
Exactly.
Of course,
Yeah, yeah.
of course.
Well, thank you both.
But
Thank you.
Wait, I have one last word.
Yeah.
Okay, one last word.
Question.
Okay,
one last
go.
question.
All right, go.
Okay, so as we finalize this show, I just want to ask this question. So this will be for you, Mayor Ivan, and for Susie. Okay, so if you could describe your journey in one word, what would that be?
For me, persevere. I mean, I've persevered. I mean, the hunger to live and to make a difference, relentless, courageous. That's, man.
Grateful.
That's beautiful.
Just grateful. Even for the tears, the joys, just so grateful. Yeah, gratitude. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
See how she
That's
follows
wonderful.
the rules? One word. I'm like, all over.
I didn't want to criticize you.
That's
because
us,
you're
man.
doing-
We
but
were like,
that's
yeah,
okay.
our minds just think different. I'm this, that, yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
that's
I should have brought my list.
no, because we all wake up, with grateful hearts every morning. I know I do, and I think that's my favorite word is I'm grateful.
Yeah.
As well. So that was.
And I get to
beautiful.
remind myself of that of times. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that rings true.
Yes.
Well,
Well, we thank you both.
thank you
so
both for
much
coming, taking the time.
joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
taking the
and-
time of your busy schedule.
Yeah.
When you-
Fast.
I really think that her and her colleagues should really come back if that's possible. They're Latinas and they're like leading the charge of transforming cities through attorneys and
We can have a panel
yeah,
thing.
I really think
Yeah,
you
so
should.
The whole group.
attorneys.
Yeah.
And AMLO's a very powerful firm, and Rick Olivares, his mom, I don't know if you know her, Lucio Roybal Allard, she was a
Congresswoman.
congresswoman, and her dad was also
Ed Roybal,
and
congressman
they have a
and-
building
Look them
named
up.
after him in downtown LA. He's like the first Latino that got
City
into
Council, LA.
and he started to transform everything that led and paved the way for other Latinos to be in the position like I am today.
Wow.
Wow.
And so
Definitely, let's do it.
It's a powerful
We'll
firm.
schedule
I think you could talk to them and see what Latinos are up to and taking care of their cities and changing and transforming their cities.
Oh,
I love it.
That's wonderful. Thank you for all the work, all the great work that you are doing, and for being such a great example to so many, especially me now. Oh my God, I'm gonna be your greatest fan. No.
Thank you.
I respect you, and I thank you because the advice that you have given us has been very inspirational. So, if you could address our audience right now, I mean, would there be any last words? Maybe a little kiss and say thank you, honey.
Oh, wow, what? Hey. Hey, that's private. No.
No.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Don't forget every Monday, 7 a.m. And don't forget, tune in. And if you guys want to visit the City of Commerce and see these two in action, they're there waiting for you guys. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys.
All right, see you guys later.
Thank you so much for watching Let's Connect Now. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be a sponsor, contact us today.